Hey, what's up everybody? Guinea Piggies Designs here, and today I am going to be doing a tutorial on these 5 potty pads. As you can see, they are SpongeBob potty pads. Who doesn't love SpongeBob? I love SpongeBob. If you want to see how I made these, go ahead and keep on watching. I laid out my U-Haul, and when you cut out your pieces, you want to make sure that your fabric is completely flat, so that way it's even when you cut out. And I'm going to be making 5 of these pads. I always layer my pads with 2 layers of U-Haul, so I'm going to cut out 10, so that way there is 2 layers of U-Haul in each pad. What I do is, when I first start cutting, I line up my square to the edge of the fabric. I line up my rotary cutter to the edge of the ruler, and then I just cut it out like this. And then as you can see, you get a perfect 12 by 12 inch square. So I'm gonna do this 9 more times. So I cut out all 10 pieces of my U-Haul, and again, U-Haul is just to help absorb any liquid. Next step, which is optional, I'm going to cut out my bamboo batting. This is my bamboo batting. As you can see, it comes in a roll and it comes like double layered like this. So I just cut both layers together. So if I cut out 5 of these pieces, it'll equal 10. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out 5 of those. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out all the pieces I'm gonna line my pads with. So now I'm gonna cut out the fleece. So I'm gonna be using this SpongeBob fleece, and then I have this yellow bamboo fleece. It's a new type of fleece that helps absorb even more. I decided I was gonna try it out in this video, but you can use a regular fleece. So I'm gonna cut out 5 pieces of this one with my rotary square, and I'm gonna cut out 5 pieces of this yellow. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out 5 pieces of the SpongeBob fleece and 5 pieces of the yellow fleece, and should already have 10 pieces of your bamboo batting, which is optional, and then 10 pieces of your U-Haul. But in the next part of this video, I am going to show you how to set it up for sewing. So I pulled out my Wonder Clips because this is what's going to keep all the layers together. For a beginner, I definitely recommend using these. Alright, so before you start sewing, how you're going to lay out your pad is first you're going to put down your U-Haul, and then if you did cut out bamboo batting, you would put 1 layer of that down next. And if you're not using bamboo batting, just skip the bamboo batting step. You can just pretend this isn't here if you're only using U-Haul. Next, you're going to start putting down your fleece. So you want the good side of the fleece facing you for this part. So this is the good side, and then this is the bad side. You see how it's not as vibrant? So you definitely want the good side facing you. Next, you're going to put your solid color or your print down, and for this one, you want to make sure the bad side of the fabric is facing you. This is the good side of my fabric, and then this is the bad side. So you want to make sure that the 2 good sides of your fabric are touching. And you always want to make sure that it's perfectly flat. You're going to add your bamboo batting on top of that, and then you're gonna add your U-Haul on top of that. And next I'm gonna start adding Wonder Clips around it, and this will help keep all your layers intact while you sew them, so that way they don't slip or anything. Alright, for the second pad, we're going to repeat the same process. We put the U-Haul down, then the batting, our fleece, which again is good side facing you. We're going to put our other fleece down, making sure the bad side is facing you. So again, you want good sides touching each other. We're adding the batting, then the U-Haul. So I got all 5 pads. They're ready to sew. So this next part of the video, I am going to be showing you how I sew around them. So let's go ahead and start sewing. Now I'm in my sewing room and now I'm going to be sewing around each pad. Alright, when you first start sewing, I just do a straight stitch all the way around, but I do leave a hole. Whatever side you pick, start about a little bit below the middle and then sew all the way around it and then stop like right here so you have a hole. And then also I do leave about an inch for the inseam. So now I'm gonna show you how I sew it. So for my sewing settings, I do have it set on this straight stitch. 2.5 is my stitch length. Now you definitely don't really want to go any bigger than 2.5. Any bigger just means your stitches won't be as strong. And since I'm going through so many layers, you don't really want your stitch length to be really tiny because your machine might struggle. I'm gonna line up my edge to my seam allowance. When I sew is I follow, like for my inseams, I always follow this black thing on my plate. I don't look at the needle. All I'm doing is lining the edge with the edge of this black thing right here. And then make sure your foot is down when you start sewing. Alright, and then when you start, again I'm starting a little bit below the middle. When you start out, you want to make sure you go back and forth to make sure your stitch right there is strong and it doesn't come apart. To sew straight, I'm just lining the edge up to the edge of this. I am not looking at my needle. So once you get there, I like to do a back stitch and a front stitch, just because when you're going through a lot of layers, sometimes when you churn your fabric, it will like skip a stitch. So to fix that, anytime I churn or start, I go back, I do a back stitch and a forward stitch, just to ensure that the seam is going to be strong. Alright, so let's continue. Back stitch, forward stitch, okay, turn. Alright, so let's continue. Front, back, let's go. Once I get close to this, I just take it out and put it to the side. And you gotta go back. Forward, okay. So this is the last side. I am not going to go all the way down to where I started. I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave about a 2.5 to 3 inch hole. Oh wait, I forgot. Go back. Okay. So about there. And then I'm going to sew back and forth at the end to make the end here strong. And I'm just cutting the threads off with my nippers. Alright, and then I'm gonna move this because I don't need that anymore. So as you can see, there's a hole right here. I did not sew all the way around. I left a little hole so that way we can turn it right side out once we're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and sew the other 4 pads here the same exact way. So once you've sewn around all your 5 potty pads, the next step we're going to do is we're going to cut around the edges, and I'm going to be using my GINGHER spring action scissors. What you want to try to do is get as close to the edge as possible. Pretty close, but you do not want to cut the seam. So we're going to do that for all the edges. When you get done cutting around all the edges, it should look like this. So now I'm gonna go and repeat this step 4 more times. So after you cut around all your pads, the next step we're going to do is to start churning them right side out. How you do that is you grab the most inner layers, you grab the U-Haul, the batting, and the fleece on one side, and then the U-Haul, the batting, and the fleece on the other side, so you get the middle, and that's where you want to start pulling out from. Basically, I just try to grab the furthest corner away from the hole, and I just start pulling it right side out. So once you got it out, it's gonna look kind of like distorted. So what you're gonna do now is try to use your hand and you're gonna try to push out the corners. And then once you pushed out all the corners, you're just gonna smooth it out with your hand. So once you turn it right side out and push out the corners, it should look like this. Here's the other side. Now I'm gonna repeat this same process 4 more times. Alright, so the next part of the video, I'm going to be showing you how to close up the holes. So to hand sew up the hole, you need a hand sewing needle and you need thread. I use a nylon thread. So what I do to start out is I double my thread, I put the thread in the loop, and I kind of center the needle in the middle of the threads, and then I double knot the end. So now to start out, and I know I have it upside down, so you're kind of looking at me the other way. What I do is I take my needle and I stick it under through the U-Haul, through the batting, and up. So I stick it up through here. Okay, so that's how you start, and then you just take little bits, kind of like it's called the ladder stitch. And you just repeat this all the way down. next step we're gonna do is we're gonna sew the seams around the potty pads. So I like to do 2 seams around it. The first seam is gonna be as close to the edge as you can get, and then the second seam is gonna be about 2 inches in the middle. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so again, I'm trying to get as close to the edge as I can. And then when you start out, you always want to do the back and forth stitch. Now we're gonna go over the stitch here a little bit. Okay. Now for the second seam, I'm going to be following this part of my machine. So I'm just going to be lining it up with this. I'm not looking at the needle, so I'm just following this. Gonna follow the sign a little bit. Clip the loose thread. Alright, so this is how it looks when you add the both 2 seams. So now we're gonna repeat this process 4 more times. This is the second one. So now we have 3 more to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys about one last step. Alright, and the last step I like to do is I like to take one of these lint rollers and just run it across the pads just to remove any like loose threads or any lint. Alright, so this is your finished product. That's what it should look like. And if anyone is interested in purchasing these pads, I will have these in my shop for $50. And the only reason why I'm charging $50 is because this fabric on the back, the bamboo fabric, is expensive. It's more expensive than regular fleece, but I think it's worth it. It's really like soft and you know, it absorbs. So I mean, it's like really nice. It's really soft. Like this side is so soft. But anyways, This set of SpongeBob potty pads will be in my shop if anyone is interested in purchasing them. Also, I'll be making some other stuff out of the SpongeBob and the bamboo fleece. I will try to have this SpongeBob fleece, if I can still find it. I think I got it on joanns.com. And if I can find this yellow bamboo fleece, I will link that down below. I got it from wazoodle.com. You can also find Zorb and all that from that site if anyone is interested. Everything I used in this video, I'm gonna have it linked down below for you. And everything I link down below in the video, none of it is sponsored. Everything I bought with my own money. So there's that. Also, I wanted to know your guys' thoughts. I was thinking about doing like live tutorials where I would record something, but it would be like a live video feed. That way you guys can like ask me questions in real time. Let me know if anyone would be interested in me doing that. I mean, I'll still post videos like I'm doing now where I edit them, but I was just thinking about doing some live tutorials. Anyone wants to follow along with me in real time, I mean, we could have fun and sew together type of thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, I've decided that instead of me making tutorials going from like easiest to hardest, I just decided you guys comment down below what tutorial you want to see next and I will do it. The tutorial with the most likes or the most commented about is the next tutorial I will do on my channel. So make sure you comment down below what tutorial you want to do. I want it to let you guys decide because I want to post things that you guys want to see me do. And if this video helped you in any way on making these potty pads, make sure you give this video a like. Also, if you do follow me on Instagram, if you do decide to make these, go ahead and take a picture of them and tag me in them. I would really love to see you guys remake these and see how they turned out, and then I can give you my feedback if you guys want it. So that was pretty much all I really wanted to say in this video. If you guys do want to see more tutorials or more videos from me, make sure you guys subscribe. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!